Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Jameson, and today I'm going to be informing you on domestic violence against Indigenous women. 84.3% of Native American women have experienced violence in their lifetime. In Indian country, we face multiple issues from opioid crisis, homelessness, alcoholism, MMIW, suicide. The list of ongoing issues goes on. Unfortunately, one of the biggest issues we face in Indian country is violence against Indigenous women. Today, I'm going to inform you on the domestic violence that has been an ongoing issue in our Indigenous communities for years. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of domestic violence against Indigenous women. Second, I will tell you about the statistics. Third, I will explain how awareness can be raised. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the history of domestic violence. Before our people were invaded, women were respected. We were protected by the men in our communities. Trauma within our communities goes back hundreds of years, including when we were first invaded. Diseases and alcohol were brought to us by the white man. Our people were being killed and headed to extinction. As time went on, trauma continued. Our communities began to change. Drugs and alcohol began to become staples in our communities. Women were no longer being protected the way they once were. Our communities were being forced to change our ways of life. Now that I have told you about how far back domestic violence goes, I will tell you about the statistics. 56.1% have experienced sexual violence. 55.5% have experienced physical violence by an intimate partner. 48.8% have experienced stalking, and 66.4% have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner. Overall, more than 1.5 million American Indian and Alaskan Native women have experienced violence in their lifetime. American Indian and Alaskan Native female victims are more likely to need services, but they are less likely to get access to those services. More than 2 in 5 American Indian and Alaskan Native female victims reported being physically injured, and almost half reported needing services. The services most commonly needed were medical and legal services. Unfortunately, more than a third, 38%, were unable to receive the necessary services. I would also like to add that it is extremely hard to find current statistics for Indigenous women and domestic violence. I say this from personal experience. A lot of domestic violence situations tend to go undocumented, like myself, due to fear of their abusers. Now that I have told you about the history of domestic violence in Indigenous communities and the statistics behind domestic violence, I'm going to inform you on how we can raise awareness for domestic violence against Indigenous women. Bringing awareness and educating our communities, especially our youth, on healthy and unhealthy relationships is a crucial piece. When to ask for help and resources for assistance with domestic violence. Tribes can assist by having programs that are 24/7 access to helping with providing safety should an Indigenous woman need the assistance regardless of her tribe. Protecting Indigenous women also means ensuring that they have access to legal assistance if they would like advice or if they would like to move forward with legal actions. Also, making sure that all incidents are properly documented. It would also be beneficial if tribes picked up the charges should a victim be afraid to move forward with charges against their abuser. Today, I have informed you about violence against Indigenous women. We went over the history behind it, the statistics behind domestic violence towards Indigenous women, and what can be done to raise awareness on domestic violence against Indigenous women. To better protect our Indigenous women, it starts within our communities. Thank you for watching.